I'm Chloe with this week's Health and Nutrition News. The World Health Organization and pediatricians are warning that antibiotic-resistant superbugs are endangering kids and adults. If you've been sick before, the doctor may have prescribed antibiotics to slay the nasty bacteria in your body. However, disease-spreading bugs like viruses, bacteria, parasites, and fungi are starting to fight back, developing high-resistant levels to antibiotics. See, antibiotic resistance is becoming a very real danger and is already leaving millions of people defenseless against ultra-evolved bacteria. If you've been staying tuned to the news, you may have already heard of these superbugs that laugh in the face of medicine. After all, last year the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention began creating superbug alert levels like urgent, serious, and concerning. Currently, there are about 2 million people in the U.S. that are infected with antibiotic-resistant bugs, with about 23,000 deaths due to the drugs being ineffective. Surprisingly, doctors are partially to blame, since they so frequently prescribe the disease-killing drugs. This gives the critters more chances to adapt defense mechanisms for the next time, so they can return better equipped for vengeance. Another major source of this dangerous bacteria evolution comes from the antibiotics used in raising bigger pigs and cows for humans to eat. While researchers and lawmakers come up with solutions, be sure to wash your hands often to avoid germs and only accept antibiotics from your doctor if they absolutely insist.
We have a new drug, Ignoritol. Let me show you how Ignoritol works. It turns this to this.
Research shows sarcasm is the highest form of intelligence and leads to success in life, as long as you're not mean-spirited with it. While sarcasm can just as easily lead to offending people, if wisecracking is cracked wisely, it can build social bonds with hilarity and clever remarks. See, the magic of sarcasm is it forces people's brains to overcome the contradiction between the literal meaning of what you're saying and the intended meaning, which promotes creative thinking and deeper understanding of human motivations. Reading between the lines of sarcasm sharpens your brain and makes it easier to figure people out, especially when they're lying. This sarcasm study wasn't just dreamed up by a bunch of wily college kids either. We're talking Harvard and Columbia researchers. And that, my friends, is not sarcasm. If it was, believe me, I'd make sure you knew. After all, good sarcasm lets people in on the joke without putting them down.
Can I buy you a cup of coffee?
Oh, yes! It's funny because it's free!
Great news! There are no more Ebola cases in Guinea, the last country still battling the West African epidemic, as the last patient recovers. A baby girl has recovered from the disease, which means Guinea can begin a month-long countdown to declaring the outbreak over. If there's no more cases in that time, say adios to Ebola. The West African epidemic first began when a 2-year-old in Guinea was bitten while playing in a bat-filled hollow tree. Did Batman not cover his nose after sneezing? Fatal virus swiftly spread to surrounding countries like Sierra Leone, infecting about 28,600 people so far and claiming more than 11,300 lives in what's now the deadliest Ebola outbreak in history. Ebola is introduced to a human that comes into close contact with the infected bodily fluids of animals or other humans. Once the virus has settled in their bodies, it can take almost 3 whole weeks for any symptoms to show, which include fever, severe weakness, sore muscles, and organ failure.
Don't touch others' poop and pee. Stay Ebola free.
The most extensive face transplant in history has given a brave firefighter new life, years after he suffered terrible burns. 41-year-old Mississippi volunteer firefighter Patrick Hardison is now wearing the face of a 26-year-old Brooklyn bike mechanic, David Roadbaugh, who passed away from a bike accident on August 12th. Hardison was burned in 2001 when he entered a burning home during a rescue mission and the roof collapsed on him. Now, a team of over 150 staff members at New York University use innovative plastic surgery techniques and special drugs to give Hardison a new face. See, our bodies aren't naturally programmed to accept tissues from other people as our own, so drugs will help his unfamiliar face from being rejected. Only 28 face transplants have been performed since 1985, but this was by far the most extensive. It was paid for by NYU and cost between $850,000 to $1 million. Hardison is so happy and grateful for the new face.
How do you like your new face?
I love it. It's great. I'm just a normal guy right now.